So this is this recording will be available. So if you know anyone who is was unable to come, no problem. They'll be able to access it, and as will anyone who becomes interested a little bit later on. They will have access to this on the NCIS site. Okay, so Mathia Adventure. Now we may have, as I said, Zorbits. It was the K to 3 platform. They've called the 4 to 6 platform Mathstoria. And then the overall is Mathia Adventure. That's generally how we refer to it when we refer to this program because we're talking about the entire K to 6 platform is Mathia Adventure. But when you go to set up your email, you will get an email from ClearMath at Carnegie Learning because this company has been bought out by a big American company called Carnegie Learning. So a lot of names makes it just a tad confusing. But I'll show you a little video right here. This is just short and sweet, it's just like a minute. Oh, you know what? I'm not sure I have, let me just check my options. I'm not sure we're going to have sound. So I may or may not be able to show you this. Okay, why don't I just try it? If it doesn't work, it's in the slide deck. I will send you the slide deck. So if you guys don't mind, just pop into the chat if you can hear the video. Otherwise, I'll just skip over it, okay? Give it a sec. Can you hear that? Thanks for that, Josephine. Okay, I'm going to skip over it. It's just a little overview of the game, like what the game actually has for the students. So that'll be in the slide deck, but I'll just skip over it. Um, that's okay. It was just a little promotional video, but it tells you a little bit about the game. But I can tell you about it myself as well. So it is Alberta curriculum aligned, which is probably one of the best parts of this entire platform is the fact that they've aligned it to the curriculum. So you don't have to worry about, you know, what am I giving? Am I giving them? Is it just a game? I'm just giving them a game. It's not like Prodigy. It's not like Mathletics because it is actually aligned to Alberta curriculum. So when you are assigning games for them, for your students, you will be giving them curricularly aligned assignments. So that's a very cool thing. It is a gamified platform for the students. So it's actually pretty engaging. We have heard a lot of positive feedback from students are enjoying it, which of course getting students to like math is a big thing for us. And then it's very easy to differentiate on this, and I will show you how to do that. It's a click of a button. You're able to differentiate work for your students because you may have students with all different ranges. Classes are so complex these days. Being able to assign student work that is aligned with where they are with their development in math is a really great thing. We can use little pre-assessments. You can give little assignments that are below grade level just to see if they're getting it. You can give, we can adjust game controls so that when they're playing independently, they're playing at their level. You can get formative and diagnostic assessment data from this. So it's a very good little program. And with 3 years, you have time to kind of figure out how to use it. Okay, so this is what I've done. Now I have this in a slide deck, but I'm also going to give you a link to the tips and tricks doc that I made. You may or may not have seen this. I've been handing this out everywhere I go. So the tips and tricks doc, and I'll just post it in the chat right there, takes you step by step through all of Mathia Adventure. So how to set up your login, how to create a class. I'm about to go through all that right now, but this little doc is kind of handy if you want to bookmark it, you want to print it off. Sometimes it's nice when you have that in your, you have that beside you as you are doing it, then you have all the steps. I put pictures in there to try and make it easy to follow. So that's the little doc right there is just in the chat. It's also linked in this presentation. Okay, so let's go take a look. So first up with your logging in for teachers has been a bit more of a challenge than what we would have liked. We are giving a lot of feedback to Mathia about this. So the link is in this doc, it's in the slide deck. When you go to that link, you have to use your CSSD email. So all of your accounts are being set up with your Outlook email, not your Learn account. So that's the first important thing. When you go to the login, I believe you can just click forgot password, give yourself a password, password and get in. That's what they told me this morning. The Mathia support people told me that this morning. You would have gotten an email to verify your email. So I'm not sure, you may be able to skip that step. So if anybody tries that, let me know. If you've used it ever before, you don't need to verify your email. If you've ever been into Zorbits before, your email's been verified, you can definitely click forgot password and just get in. And especially if you were using it last year, get emails even now, like in November. Oh, I used it last year, but now I can't get in. Just click forgot password. It should bring you right in. If for some reason your account got deactivated, just let me know. I can activate you again. So that's your logging in. Creating a class is actually pretty easy. You know what? I'm going to hop out of here. I'm going to go into Mathia and just rather than the slide deck, I'll send you the slide deck, but I actually think it's maybe a little bit easier just to get you right in here. So here I've got your, you just put your CSSD email in, you have put your password. If you have forgotten your password, click forgot password and just give yourself something easy to remember. Math rocks 123, whatever you like. And you'll bring in, it'll ask you for the name of your class, what language and what grade. And then you'll be here and you can just click create a class. So I've created my own class. So I'm just going to go in. I don't have students anymore. So I just put myself and my children in my class. And it brings you to this dashboard. Is this looking familiar? Have people gotten to this step already? We have probably a wide variety of people in here. If you want to just throw in the chat or unmute, tell me where you are. Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? Yes, you've done this so far? Okay, Danielle, good. Good to know. If you guys don't mind just throwing stuff in the chat, letting me know where you are, and then I'll know if I'm going and tell me if I'm going too fast or too slow for you, because I can easily speed up or slow down. Okay, so okay. Oh, okay. Oh, good, Ita. Well, that's good to know. Okay, so I'll just kind of keep going. I'm just going to kind of give you the highlights. But again, let me know if you're doing this along with me. If any part of this you want to do at the same time as me, just give me that feedback in the chat or unmute and tell me, and I'll slow down if you need me to. Okay, so the first thing I would do when I came in here, I go to this little drop down button at the top. You can see right up at the top here where my mouse is. That's a really important drop down button, and it's kind of hidden. So it says manage class. There's a little drop down. The first thing you'll do is update roster. It's not going to let you really do anything until you have students in your class. So when you go to that drop down, go to update roster, it brings you to a screen like this. So this is where I've put in. You don't create a username, Josephine. You use your email, your Calgary Catholic email. So Josephine, like first name dot last name at cssd.ab.ca. That's your email. That's what you need to use as your username. The password, if you haven't been in, you'll have to click forgot password. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So when you're going to put your students in, if you are a Div 1 teacher, you could just click add a student from my school. If you are a Div 2 teacher, your students probably aren't in there yet. Unless you're grade 4, your students might be in there. But when you click add student from school, it brings up all the different students. So that might actually be more time consuming. Oh, good. Josephine, thanks for letting me know you got it. What might even be easier is just to type the names. It doesn't, first name, you could even do first name, last initial as I did here, or first name, last name. It's pretty quick. And then once you're done, so let me show you how I would do it. Let's add Fozzie Bear. Fozzie Bear is going to join my class, and then I'll click add, and Fozzie Bear shows up down here. Once I've added all the students, or you can pause and do this periodically, you're just going to click enroll students, and now Fozzie Bear's in my class. They gave me a username and a password. And now I have Fozzie in there, so Fozzie's good to go. Okay, hopefully that's making sense. Okay. So then you just keep going until you have your whole class in there. And that's how to add. It's pretty easy. When you go, you want to get login cards for your students so they'll know what their logins are. I had somebody ask if you could use Learn Accounts to log in. You can't. You have to actually have logins. So what you'll get is you'll get these cute little login cards. You can cut them out, put them in the agendas, and then the kids always have them. And they're pretty simple, as you can see. There's a simple little password with a number, and their first name, last initial, and a number. So that's pretty straightforward. You could also print off home access letters. So same thing, you just click, they download, and you just open the PDF. And then you have a nice little letter that will go home explaining the whole how to get in, what it's for. Here's the website. Here's the username and password, and this is how to get in and get started. So that's a pretty handy little feature you could send home, and then parents know, and it just prints one after the other. So this one is Cassie's, this one is Eric's. So you just print off the whole thing. Here's Fozzie Bear's, and here's Mary. So that's, it'll print off. You have 30 kids in your class. It'll print off 30. It'll have 30 letters, and you could just print them all off and send them right home. So that is all under Manage Class with Update Roster. The really big thing though, once you've got some kids in there, is to go into your game controls. So I realize this is going to be different for everybody. But if I said I was a grade 6 teacher, when I went in, all of my grade 6 will be lit up purple like this. Everybody can see my screen, right? We've got all purple here. So if I'm a grade 6 teacher, I don't want my kids working on grade 6 unless I specifically assign something to them. I haven't taught it yet. So I would go in and turn grade 6 off. You can, this little toggle right here, if you see I'm turning it on and off here, that will turn all of grade 6 off because you don't want them doing grade level work yet when you haven't taught it, and especially with the jump in curriculum, right? So what I would say to do, what we're suggesting, and it's going to depend on your students, but what we're suggesting is go about 2 grade levels below. I would go down to grade 4. So if I went down to grade 4, it would be turned off like this if I said I was a grade 6 teacher. And then I would decide, well, I could turn on all of grade 4, and then they could work on whatever they wanted in grade 4. Or I could turn on just operations and maybe number sense. Maybe that's what I want them working on, because this is the independent play that they're going to be doing. This isn't the assignments you're going to give. This is when they have free time, when they're playing at home. This is what they're going to be working on. These worlds is what they're going to be playing. So you're going to want to have that just specifically what you would want. Now, I might say, well, maybe Fozzie Bear is not ready for grade 4. Fozzie Bear is pretty weak. Fozzie Bear needs to work on even more basic skills. I might go down to grade 3 or even grade 2 for Fozzie Bear. Let's go and turn on grade 2. So if my grade 2 would come on like this, I would just click Fozzie Bear only, and that opens grade 2 just for Fozzie Bear. Or I could say, well, I just want Fozzie working on operations, and I would turn on operations for Fozzie Bear. Does that make sense? These are the game controls that are hiding under that drop-down roster, and they're so important. Kids will get frustrated with it if the math is too hard. So trying to set it to their level is so important. And then once you've got it, the whole class where however you would like it, you can just click Save Changes, and it's saved and you're good to go. And as the year goes on, you might go in and, well, Fozzie finished all of the grade 2 operations. I might open up more worlds for Fozzie, or I might open up grade 2, grade 3, grade 4 for Fozzie, and he could just go in that progression. So that's all under your control. As the teacher, you can control what your students do. These game controls are just for independent play. Are there any questions about that? Is that making sense? Okay, I don't see anyone typing, so I'm going to keep going. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I want you to have time to play. Okay, so that's the game controls. So that's a really important thing. Now, oh, thanks, Danielle. You're still with me. That's good. So then the next thing is you can create curricularly aligned assignments. Now, could you guys, those of you who are able, I know that there may be people who are on a phone, maybe it's not so easy, but if you're able, could you pop in the chat what grade you teach? There's a bit of a difference between Div 1 and Div 2, only in that Div 1 Zorbits is fully built. Oh, awesome. Danielle's grade 3. Okay. Lorraine's grade 6. Great. Grade 3, Genevieve. Great. 2-1 for Josephine. Okay. So we have a bit of a span of grades here. So I will just tell you everything I know then for both divisions. If you are in Div 1, you may have seen this last year. Oh, grade 4, Chelsea, thanks. The Div 1, as I was saying at the beginning, is fully built out. Oh, I see. So you're using 1 to 3 levels, Ita. Awesome. Okay, so let me show you kind of the differences. So Div 2s, I'm sorry, it's not fully built out yet. What happened was once the election happened at the end of May, these guys started going crazy building out Div 2. Because we didn't know we were going to need the new curriculum until about May 30th. So that they've been building like mad ever since. So January is what they're telling us, and we will have all the functionality of Zorbits will also be in Mathstoria. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways to assign work. Div 1 has a bit of an advantage. Oh, grade 2, Toby. Okay. So I'll show you probably the way that applies to everybody, and then I'll show you the secret advantage that the Div 1s have. So if you want to create a curricularly aligned assignment, you would go to assignments over here on the left. And you can see I've got a whole bunch of assignments. I do this all the time where I'm demoing assignments because I really don't have students. But you would go into create assignment. And then this is where you would select your grade. So if you've just taught something at grade level, so let's say you taught a grade 4 lesson. I taught a grade 4 lesson. I want to see if my students understand them. Let's assign a game. I'll select the subject. So maybe I'm doing number sense and I'll go to next. So here I get to choose from all the number sense. So there is quite a bit built out here already for number sense. These are all the different lessons that we have so far. So let's say you were going to do read, represent, compose, and decompose numbers to 10,000. That's going to be what they're working on. And we'll go next. This is where we're going to choose the number of questions. So the default is 5. I might decide I want to keep them occupied a little longer. I'm going to make that 14. You can do whatever you like. And then when you come here, you're going to decide which students are going to get this assignment. So maybe Fozzie's not ready for this. I could assign it to the whole class, but maybe Fozzie's not ready. I might give Fozzie a lower level assignment. It's very easy to assign something else. This is only a few steps, and then you could go in and give Fozzie a grade 2 level assignment, perhaps. And then I would go to next. This is really key, and this is in the doc. I took a picture of this because I wanted everybody to see it. Assignment is required. It's defaulted to be off, but you want it to be on because if you create an assignment, you want the students to do your assignment before they go play those background foundational skills, easier leveled questions. So that's the assignment is required toggle. I asked if they could make that the default, but they didn't want to because if teachers assigned a whole bunch of assignments, they wanted students to still be able to play. So they gave me kind of an explanation like that, why it's not defaulted to be on. But it is a really key step is to make that assignment required so they do your assignment first, because chances are you're waiting to see how well they understand this information. If you don't make it required, they can go into their other worlds. They may never get to your assignment. It'll still be there, but they don't have to do it if it's not required. If it's required, it's the only thing they see. And there's a picture of that in the doc as well that I can show you. So then you'll decide, is this just going to be for today? Or is this going to be for this week or next week, or make a custom due date? So you might make it this week. That way, if a kid's away, they're still going to have that required assignment to do before they go on their independent play. And then I'll just click create assignment. And then there it is, read, represent, decompose. I've assigned it to 3 students. It's due this week. Now there's nothing, I can't click view progress because nobody's started. So let me show you an old one. Here is an older assignment that I did. So this one, you can see Eric, Mary, and Fozzie Bear. None of us have started this yet. The only person who started it is Cassie. So Cassie's my daughter. She goes to Bishop Carroll and she sits on a Chromebook all day long. So I sent it to her and said, hey, can you try this for me? Because I want to see what it looks like. So she did it for 1:21. She was getting 100% in it. And then she got about 27% of the way through the assignment before she texted me and said, hey, Mom, how long do I have to do this? And I said, that's fine, honey. I just wanted to see what it looked like. So you can kind of see as your students are doing it in progress, how far they're getting. And I can see, oh, I've got 3 students who haven't even started. Well, they're either having trouble getting in or they're on YouTube. So I need to go check on those students. So that's just the progress, like as it's going on. Once you have them actually getting the work done, okay, the class is done or mostly done, this is where you can get your diagnostic and informative assessment from. So you can go up to where it says reports, and it's the game progress report. So then you have to pick your grade at the top. It often defaults to kindergarten, and then you have a bit of a heart attack. Where did it go? So this is grade 4. This is where the practice assignments we had done were. And all of these are the different assignments that you can see. So Cassie's all green. So that means she was getting perfect or nearly perfect in all of these. Mary is yellow. So she was making a couple of mistakes here and there. But what's very cool about this is if you click on it. So let's say I'm going to click on Mary's representing whole numbers. It breaks it down to all the different parts of the outcome. So you can see that, oh, she was totally understanding decompose numbers to 10,000, but read and represent numbers, she was having a bit of an issue with that one, but still 75% is not bad. She was just making a couple of mistakes where here she was getting pretty much perfect. So that's really cool to get that get that feedback that you can see if students are understanding. If you come across some red, that means this student was having a hard time with that outcome, where you might want to pull them aside, work one-on-one, see if they were misunderstanding, or maybe they ran into a game glitch and it wasn't their fault. They actually do understand. So you can kind of check in with all of your red students just to see how they're doing. So that's the little reports feature. Any questions about that? Is that all making sense? So as I said, there is a lot here. It's all in the doc that I gave you. The other thing I could point out for my Div 1 teachers. Oh, that's okay, Chelsea. I'll send you an email with the links, okay? No problem. Have a good rest of your day. So the game guide down here, this is the bit of an advantage that the Div 1 teachers have. So Zorbit's Math Adventure, as you can see, is all nicely lit up. Math Story is grayed out because it's not ready yet, but it's coming. In fact, I believe this is actually coming sooner than later. So it may even be sooner than we thought. But here's Zorbits. I'll show you what it looks like. So this is what the Div 2s have to look forward to, and this is what the Div 1s have already. This is where you can find the assignment you want to use to teach. So whatever you're looking for, you can filter them by the grade that you want. If I want to go by grade three number sense, here's the grade 3 number sense for, oh, here's fractions, some fractions games that you can do. Operations, lots of different operations games. So when you click on these, so let's see, launcher repair is multiply and divide numbers from 0 to 10. So let's look at that game. So you can see how to play, and we're going to multiply by threes, but they're talking about multiplication and division. And you can play an activity demo with your class. So that's really handy. That feature doesn't exist for Div 2 yet, but it is coming. So as soon as that comes out, we will share that with the set admins because that's a really important one that I know people are waiting for. And so that is the game guide, which is just for Div 1 right now. And that's what this little link is right here. Okay, so before I go on I have one more a really important part of this to show you. I do want to show you a couple of other things that they have brought over for us. So let me and I'm going to give you the link for this. But hopefully you can see that now. So they've just come out. We just met with them last week, and this is one of the awesome things they have. So for my Div 1 teachers, they have recommended games for intervention for the Alberta Numeracy screening assessments. So different parts of the assessment, you have downloadable resources. I'm about to show you those in a second, and the digital games that will help with those assessments. So I'm going to put the link in the chat here. So again, you can print it, you can just bookmark it so that you have it. So these are just recommended games. So there's grade 1, there's grade 2, and there's grade 3. So there are downloadable games that you can play. I'm going to show you these offline resources. They're also in the website. This is just making it way easier for you to find, but also the names of the games that apply to those specific assessment tasks. So if you're like, oh, a whole bunch of kids in my class had a hard time with numbers on the number line. Well, here's a downloadable activity you can do, and here's the games that you can do. So that's just a really handy thing that they came out with just recently, just last week, actually. And the other thing that was very cool that they just gave us last week, and again, I'll give you the link here. This is for Div 2 teachers. This is so you don't have to go searching for the games. This is just the games that they have based on the outcomes. So for example, grade 4, representing whole numbers. Here are all the games that are in Mathstoria for representing whole numbers. Representing decimals, here are all the games that are there for representing decimals. So you know which ones. So if you're looking for something specific and it's not on here, then you're like, okay, they don't have an online game. I'm not going to go searching for one. So it's just a big time saver for you if you'd like to print it off, and it goes right through all the way through the grade 6. So if you'd like to print it off, or you'd like to just bookmark it, then if you're like, I think maybe I'd like to do something in Mathstoria, you can go look and say, oh yeah, they don't have one here, or oh, they do have one. I'm going to go do that. So kind of handy. Just we're trying to. I know how much time this is taking for all of our teachers right now. So I was really happy. We didn't even ask them to do this. They just gave this to us, and that it's just been fabulous. So that's the 2 extra special treats that I had for you right there. So the last thing I want to show you, which is also mentioned in those little handouts, are our offline resources. So that's when we go to resources on this side tab here, and I go over to additional activities. It's going to bring you to this page. So it's really amazing. So you pick the grade. So let's be a grade 3 teacher right now. So if I'm a grade 3 teacher and maybe I'm doing number sense. So I'm going to click those off. And what we have here are all different types of activities. So you can be specific or you can look at all of them, whatever you would prefer. So math talks are a great way to start any lesson. So you can look for number sense math talks. You can have, if you do centers, you can have exploratory activities that kids can do in centers or in pairs. There are games, there are exit tickets. There's so many little things you can get here. These also make excellent subplans. So when you come in here, you can go and just pick something. So let's say fraction roll off. So we're going to use a number line to estimate and order proper fractions. Sure, let's try that. So I'm going to click on it. It tells me it's something that can be done in pairs or a small group or a center, and they're going to use a number line. So let's see what that looks like. Oh, sorry, Tobio. Yes, what's your question? Yes, I will show you again. It's very important. I want to make sure you see it. So we click on the side to resources on the side menu right there. And then that brings you to this page. And then over on the right, that's where you can pick your grade, your strand, your subject, and the different types. Did you find it there, the resources on the left? Oh, you're very welcome. Good. I'm glad I'm glad we found it. That's great. So once you click on it, it'll just open a PDF, which looks very much like this. So there's all different ones. You may get into find some are fabulous, some maybe are not as applicable to you, and that's totally fine. There's many. There are two offline resources, I believe, for every outcome. So there's quite a bit that you can use in here. So it's telling us that the only materials we need are dice. It should take about 15 minutes to do, and pairs, groups, or centers are a good way to do it. So it gives you the directions of what to do here, and it gives you some key questions that you can ask while you're teaching and how to support and extend the learning. And then this one doesn't have a student handout, but if there is a student handout, it comes at the end. So let's see if I can find one that might have that. This looks like it's going to have a handout. Let's look at that one. There we go. So this is hexafractions. We need dice and the student printable, which comes on the next page. So again, they all have directions, questions supporting, and then there's the student printables right here. So you would just print those off for your students, and this would make a great sub plan or something you can do with small groups. So that's the offline activities. So there are many of them. Again, Div 2 is still being built, but there is quite a bit, even if we went into like grade 6, where there's they're still building quite a bit. You can see there's still quite a bit for number and number sense. And so they're really handy. Like if you ever wanted to start your day with a math talk, a little 5-minute math talk, it'll just be it just comes right afterwards. So mindful math moments. So it just tells you what we're going to be doing. There's an introduction just for you. And then you go down, close your eyes and visualize 4 base 10 blocks. What number is represented? And then you see what the kids, it just gets them talking. Think of any whole number. What would it be in expanded form? So going through all of that, which is great as well. And so those are all of the offline features that we have. And so if you don't have access to, I know different schools have different amounts of access to technology. If you do have access, great. I had a teacher ask me the other day, she wants to do some small group instruction because her class is so complex with so many different diverse needs. She doesn't feel that whole group instruction is really reaching all of her students, that probably half of them aren't getting much out of that. So she wants to switch to small group. And she was like, well, is it okay if I put them on this while I'm working with the little group? And I said, yeah, they're doing curriculum. They're building math skills. This is a great thing to do while you're working with your group. So that's just come up just recently in a school I was at. So this, the little slide deck that we did, I went through all of this with you, but I'll send you the slide deck as well because it goes through the steps, just like the doc. It has the pictures as well and the links to those two docs I just shared and the offline assignments. There is a teacher's resource guide for the offline assignments as well, and that's linked in here. Actually, I will put that link in the chat as well. Just want to give you all the resources I can possibly share with you. And this one is very good as well because it just tells you what they have. So this is for offline assignments. These are all the offline assignments they have for every grade. So again, it tells you what you're looking for. Students relate fractions to quotients. Oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go look at that offline assignment. And then when you go down, it actually has the links. So if I were going to go to, let's say, grade 1, who who has more? Students work on understanding the concept of one or more one more than or one less than a number. There's the English, there's the French, and that's what you do. So I'll give you that link as well. And then I think I'm just about out of links at that point. I think I've given you everything I've got. All right, here we go. Okay, so there's that doc as well. And that is everything I had to tell you about Mathia Adventure. I'll put the link to the slide deck in the chat as well in case you would like that. Ooh, that should be on Calgary Catholic. So I'll put that in there. And there we go. So I will send an email because I know not everybody could come or stay or was missing at the beginning. But if you have any specific questions for me, I am here to help. Please hang out with me and ask me those questions. If you feel like you're good to go now and you'd like to get on with your evening, please feel free to get going. That's fine too. But I'm still here. So ask me if you have questions. Oh, great. Oh, wonderful, Danielle. I'm glad you got something out of it. Have a great weekend. Or weekend. Have a great evening. What day is it? I don't even know anymore. Oh, wonderful. Oh, thanks, Josephine. I'll send you these links. Have a great evening. Oh, my pleasure, Ita. Oh, you're welcome, Taviola. You're welcome, Genevieve. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions math related. Oh, that's great. Oh, wonderful. Thanks, Nicole. I love that. Yeah, I hope you get to try it out with your students, Nicole. That'll be fun. All right, everybody. So I will send an email with all of these links. If you'd like me to help you with your specific account or you have questions about setting up students or creating assignments, I'm still here. You're welcome to just let me know, unmute or pop it in the chat, and I will help you with your whatever you happen to be working on. But otherwise, if you feel good, go enjoy the rest of your evening. Oh, you're very welcome, Michelle. I'll send you an email with all these links, okay? Have a great evening. Josephine, did you have any questions for me? You want to just play around and hang out with me? We could do that too. No, you're good. All right. Well, I'll end this meeting then, Josephine. But yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any questions, okay? Have a good evening.